I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you?
This is the story of how Gerri and I met. Take over, Gerri.
Well, today happens to be 9/11, and the date that we married, but it was in August of 1947, on Labor Day weekend, that Milton came into Philadelphia with his two friends from Providence, Rhode Island. Joe, one of the two, was intending to enlist in Temple University.
Registered, not doing this.
And so anyway, they came in looking for 3 days. They went to Bernice Glassman, his cousin from Philadelphia, whom I happened to have grown up with on the same street. Older than I, married woman now with a couple children. And Milton wanted a date for the three of them for that night. So let's go on.
Well, I called my cousin up and I said, "Can you get us a date?" She says, "Well, I have a very good friend that lives in the neighborhood. I'll call her and see what I could do." And so anyway, she called back and said, "Well, this girl's name is Gerri Lightstone, and you could call her up after we hang up and see what she says." So I took the phone up and I called her and I said, "Can you get 3 dates with you and 2 other people, and we'll go out at night. Right now, we're going to go to see the Athletics play baseball in Hyde Park, and we're staying at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel, and see what you could do." So
The three guys went to the ballpark to see the Boston Red Sox play the Philadelphia A's, and unfortunately, by the 5th inning, it started to rain. So Milton called my number and asked would it be all right for the three of them to come over for a few minutes to meet me and possibly the other two also. So, because I lived so close by, it was hard to say no. And the next thing I know, a taxi cab pulls up, and looking through the shades, the curtains of the window, I see the three boys come on. And attractive they were, nice. And the three came in, and we got to talking, and Milton of the three seemed to have the personality. He was open and fun. So,
well, we had a conversation, and she said she was going to call to try to get the other 2 girls. And anyhow, she was going to set things up, and we went back to our hotel, the Bellevue Stratford in downtown Philadelphia, which is on Broad Street. Well, what happened then is when we went to the room, we thought she was very nice, and the 3 of us wanted to take her out. So I said, "Look, only one of us can take her out, so we'll flip a coin, and whoever wins takes her out for the date." I won, so that was my date. And then we called back, and she said she got the other 2 girls. And
actually, Milt has forgotten that Shirley, the second girl that I had called, was available and lived in my neighborhood, and the boys wanted to meet her, and I called her and asked her what would I like. She agreed, so the 3 of us went over to Shirley's house, and at least they met the second one. The third girl, Jean, lived in South Philadelphia, an hour away from North Philadelphia, where Shirley and I lived. So at least the boys saw 2 out of 3. Actually, they didn't realize it, but Jean was the prize of the 3 of us. So
anyhow, we finally got together, and we went to this famous little nightclub called the Little Rathskeller in Philadelphia, and they put on they feed you, they put on a show. They have a MC, and it was very nice. So we.
Well, anyway, the nightclub was great, and when they met Jean, they agreed she was the prize. But somehow Milton said they had picked straws and he won, which is in quotes. But so it was known that he was going to have my date, and and Bunny was to be Shirley's date, and Joe was taking out Keith. And and we went to this little Rathskeller nightclub in the basement on Broad Street, Philadelphia. Jewish comedian, full of dirty jokes, but funny. No dirty words. They didn't use vulgar language, but it was all double entendre. And I was just enjoying it all, laughing up a storm, whereas my two friends pretended they didn't understand the jokes. But also, I was busy writing final lines so that I could tell the girls at work the next day. And of the three, Milt was the personality. Joe, who was to be the dentist, eventually spoke about nothing but teeth. And Bunny, an accountant, still in college, but very quiet, never opened his mouth. Milton was the personality and the best dancer, and we just had a wonderful time. And he invited me to Atlantic City, where they were going for the rest of their vacation. And I said, well, we'll talk about, see if they'll take out the other girls. I didn't want to go with him alone. So take over.
Well, seems the next day, I got infatuated with my Gerri, and I wanted to see her. So I told the boys to go to Atlantic City. I'll meet you there, and I'm going to take her out. So I went down to South Philadelphia, and I think she was sleeping over with this Jean, and we met. We got together. We went. We have a beautiful park in Philadelphia, and we rented bicycles, and we rode down what they call Schuylkill
East River
Drive, and we really had a good time. And I confessed that I liked her and so forth. And
that night we went to see Crossfire. We went to the movies. My mother had invited him to dinner, and he was very nice. He brought her a box of candy. And we went to the Boyd Theater to see Crossfire with Robert Ryan, which was an anti-Semitic character who Milton has never liked since. And but the other two did not want to take the other girls out, so they went on alone. Milton stayed in Philadelphia. I wanted me to go also, but I didn't go.
so anyway, when after we met at date, I said I'll see you some other time, and I went to Atlantic City with the boys. And then when I got home, I started to write to her. I really wanted to see her again, and I had a friend named Moni Mayberg who liked to gamble. And we had a place where we could gamble. And we were shooting crap, and everybody lost their money. I had $7 left. And Morty says, give me that, I'll take a shot. Anyway, he rode the $7 up to $1,200. And I immediately had all this money, so I called Gerri up, and I said to her, I'll take it to New York. I'm going to take my sister with me as a chaperone. And I met her in New York.
Well, as men do, of course he forgot the fact that 2 weeks later was Rosh Hashanah, and he had school, or he was in college. And so he called me and said, would I mind if he came? And he told me over the phone that certainly I must feel something toward him as he feels toward me, and can we discuss it? So that Rosh Hashanah holiday, he came alone, stayed at his Aunt Molly's house in Central Philly, and yes, I saw him then, and actually it was extremely flattering to me to have someone care that much to come to see me and travel 6 hours on the train. And but I guess I was carried away by his attention. Anyway, nothing was settled, and he did go back to school. Started in September the 16th, I think. And so while he was in school, he did write me, and he did call. And he mentioned that he had won $1,200. Well, he had to divide it with Lord and Mayberry, so they each had 600, I guess, and he felt that to buy me a diamond ring, an engagement ring with it. Of course, he needed my consent. But anyway, by the time he asked me about it, he had lost the money.
I think
It went off.
I think you're jumping the story a little bit.
Well, you have
I did take it to New York.
In the interim, he did want to meet me in New York as a halfway measure. He would bring his sister Ruthie along as a chaperone, and he was just marvelous. Milt was always a sport with money, as opposed to other dates I had had in the future that were very tight. But anyway, he booked Ruthie and I in the Riverside Hotel up at 95th and Riverside Avenue or something in West End. And he stayed at the Forest Hotel at 49th Street. And we went to see comedians of the day. Laurie Amsterdam was one of them. And he was just great. And, Ruthie knew someone in New York also, and the four of us went out. And just such a good time that although I felt the affection was more on his side than mine, I couldn't bring myself to tell him otherwise. And when I got back to Philadelphia alone, I realized I missed him.
Well, anyhow, the bottom line is we were writing. And finally, I think I was in between semesters, and
Thanksgiving.
I said I'm going to come down to Philadelphia and spend some time with you. And finally, we went to somebody's party. I got half loaded up drinking, and I said, I'm going to marry this girl, and you helped me through that.
Well, he skipped a few important things. Thanksgiving, and he invited me to come to Providence on the train. He sent me $10 for the fare, and I would meet his family. And we would go to his college football game with Rutgers University against Rutgers. And my father, I was 23, but in those days my father thought it was horrible that I was a single girl going alone to a boy's house, which I assured him his parents lived there and his sister. Anyway, I had a wonderful time in Rhode Island.
My father was a florist.
Yeah.
He gave her a big massage. My mother gave her.
We danced at the ball that night. I met the governor of Rhode Island. And so that's how it was. And certainly we continued to write in the summer of '48. We spent the summer at our house, got a job in Philadelphia, and we went to another friend's wedding.
Yeah.
On the 22nd, and he told everyone there after a few drinks that he would not go back to school without me as his wife, which was news to me because he hadn't said anything to me about it. But I told him afterwards, hey, you made a commitment. I can't face my friends and tell them he was drunk, and that was it. No, he said.
So anyhow, we planned to get married, and I think we both of us set everything up.
Yeah, we had a lovely wedding September the 11th.
We get the rabbi.
And here it is, 63 fast years later, went like the wind. It's been wonderful. No regrets from either of us.
Well, I have to say one thing. I took her out of poverty, and I made her what she is today.
Well, he always said that. Part of it's true. But he's been a good husband, and
We had a good time.
we're looking forward to the many more years of God with us.
Flying too high.